Have you ever had a conversation with a woman that seemed perfectly fine on the surface, yet something felt slightly out of reach? She was smiling, responding, maybe even enjoying the conversation, but there was still a quiet distance you couldn't quite explain. Nothing felt wrong, yet nothing felt completely connected either. Many men have experienced this feeling, and it often leaves them wondering if they're imagining things or missing something important. The reality is that most people are not fully seen the moment you meet them. What you experience first is often only a small part of who they truly are. Yet many men build their understanding of a woman based entirely on those first interactions. They listen to her words, observe her behaviour, and quickly form conclusions about how she feels, what she wants, and how strong the connection might be. Sometimes those conclusions are accurate. Many times they are not. Welcome. On this channel, we explore relationship psychology, female behaviour, attraction, emotional connection, and the hidden patterns that shape human interaction. The goal is not to teach tricks or manipulation. It is to help you see people more clearly, understand relationships more deeply, and avoid the misunderstandings that often create confusion between men and women. One of the biggest misunderstandings happens when men assume they are seeing the complete picture when, in reality, they are only seeing the first layer. And once you understand how these layers work, many experiences that once seemed confusing begin to make a lot more sense. The reason so many men become confused in the early stages of getting to know a woman is because they often mistake comfort for connection. When a conversation flows easily, when she laughs at a joke, responds quickly, or seems pleasant and engaged, it is natural to assume that something meaningful is developing beneath the surface. After all, positive interactions feel encouraging. They create the impression that both people are moving in the same direction. The problem is that smooth conversation and emotional investment are not always the same thing. A woman can enjoy talking to you without feeling deeply connected to you. She can appreciate your company, respect you, and even look forward to future conversations while still deciding how she truly feels. That space between enjoyment and emotional attachment is where many misunderstandings begin. What often happens is that a man starts building expectations based on what he sees in the moment. He interprets friendliness as attraction, consistency as commitment, and politeness as emotional interest. None of these assumptions come from bad intentions. They happen because people naturally want clarity. When something feels good, we want to believe it means more. But real emotional investment reveals itself differently. It appears through growing trust, increasing vulnerability, and a willingness to share parts of herself that are not visible to everyone. Until that happens, what you are seeing may simply be a pleasant interaction rather than a deeply rooted connection. Understanding this distinction can save you from a great deal of confusion later. To understand why this confusion happens so often, you have to recognize something important about human interaction. The version of a person you meet at the beginning is rarely the complete version. Whether we realize it or not, everyone reveals themselves gradually. We all have certain thoughts, emotions, experiences, and vulnerabilities that are not immediately shared with strangers or new acquaintances. Trust takes time, and people naturally protect the parts of themselves that matter most. This is especially important when it comes to attraction and emotional connection. Many men focus heavily on what they can see right away. They pay attention to the conversation, the energy, the attention they receive, and the signals that seem obvious. But beneath those visible interactions are deeper layers that take much longer to understand. Think about your own life for a moment. When you meet someone for the first time, you probably do not reveal your deepest fears, personal struggles, relationship history, or private thoughts within the first few conversations. You allow people to earn access to those parts of you over time. The same principle applies here. What creates problems is when someone mistakes the first layer for the entire person. Expectations begin forming before true understanding exists. Assumptions replace observation. Instead of learning who she is over time, they begin filling in the blanks with their own interpretations. Real connection begins when you stop assuming you already understand someone and start becoming curious about what has not been revealed yet. That shift changes everything. The first layer is the one almost everyone sees. It is the social layer, the version of a woman that exists in everyday interactions. This is the part that feels friendly, polite, approachable, and easy to engage with. Conversations at this level often flow smoothly because both people are operating within a space that feels comfortable and socially safe. At first glance, this layer can seem very meaningful. She may smile often, maintain eye contact, ask questions, and contribute to the conversation in a way that makes the interaction feel positive. From the outside, everything appears to be moving in the right direction. There is no tension, no awkwardness, and no obvious signs that anything is missing. What many men fail to recognize is that this social version is designed to help interactions function smoothly. It is not necessarily a reflection of deep emotional interest. Instead, it is the part of her personality that allows her to navigate everyday situations respectfully and comfortably. This does not mean she is pretending to be someone she is not. It simply means she is revealing the parts of herself that feel appropriate for that stage of the interaction. Most people do exactly the same thing. They lead with the version of themselves that feels safest before deciding whether a deeper level of openness is warranted. When you understand this, you stop treating pleasant conversation as proof of connection and start seeing it as the beginning of a process rather than the destination itself. The challenge with this first layer is not that it exists. The challenge is how easily it can be misunderstood. Many men assume that because a woman is warm, engaged, and easy to talk to, a deeper connection must already be forming. They begin reading emotional meaning into behaviours that may simply reflect good social skills and basic comfort. This happens because people naturally search for certainty. When an interaction feels positive, the mind starts filling in the blanks. A friendly conversation becomes evidence of attraction. Consistent responses become evidence of emotional investment. Small moments begin carrying more meaning than they actually hold. Without realizing it, expectations start growing long before the relationship itself has had a chance to grow. What is happening during this stage is often something psychologists refer to as social filtering. People carefully choose what parts of themselves they reveal based on how safe, familiar, and comfortable a situation feels. It is not deception, it is a natural part of human behaviour. We all adjust how much we reveal depending on who we are speaking with and how well we know them. A woman at this stage is often observing just as much as she is participating. She is paying attention to how you communicate, how you handle differences, how you respond to her opinions, and whether she feels comfortable being herself around you. That is why comfort should never be confused with connection. Comfort opens the door. Connection is what develops after both people decide it is safe enough to step through it. Once a woman begins moving beyond that first social layer, the interaction starts to feel noticeably different. The change is rarely dramatic. In fact, many men miss it because they are expecting something obvious. Instead, the shift appears through small moments that reveal more of who she really is. You may notice that her responses become less predictable and more genuine. Rather than always agreeing, she starts expressing her actual opinions. She may challenge something you say, share a different perspective, or reveal thoughts that are more personal than before. These moments are important because they signal that she is becoming comfortable enough to show you a version of herself that is not carefully filtered. This is where many people make a critical mistake. They assume that deeper connection is created by impressing someone. They focus on saying the perfect thing, appearing successful, or constantly trying to gain approval. Yet genuine openness is rarely created through performance. It develops when a person feels accepted rather than evaluated. When someone senses that they can express themselves honestly without being judged, they begin relaxing emotionally. The conversation becomes less about making a good impression and more about being real. That authenticity changes everything because it allows both people to interact as they truly are, rather than as they think they should be. The strongest connections are not built when people are trying to impress each other. They are built when people gradually feel safe enough to stop pretending they need to. As this second layer continues to develop, something even more important begins to take shape beneath the conversation itself. That something is emotional safety. It is one of the most overlooked elements in human connection, yet it influences almost everything that follows. Without it, people remain guarded. With it, they gradually begin revealing parts of themselves that rarely appear in ordinary interactions. Emotional safety is not created through grand gestures or intense conversations. It is built through consistency. It grows when someone feels heard instead of dismissed, understood instead of criticized, and accepted instead of constantly evaluated. These experiences may seem small in the moment, but over time they create an environment where trust can naturally develop. You can often recognize this shift through subtle changes in behavior. She may become more expressive, more spontaneous, and less concerned with saying the perfect thing. Her laughter feels more natural. Her opinions become more direct. She stops carefully managing every response and begins speaking with greater honesty. These changes are easy to overlook, but they often reveal far more than any obvious sign of attraction. What makes this stage so important is that it cannot be forced. The moment someone feels rushed, pressured, or pushed beyond their comfort level, the walls that were slowly coming down can quickly go back up. Real openness happens when there is no pressure to perform. It happens when someone feels free to be themselves without worrying that who they are will be rejected once it is finally seen. Beyond emotional safety lies a level of connection that very few people ever fully reach. This is the inner layer, the place where a person's deepest values, fears, desires, and emotional truths exist. It is not something that appears after a few meaningful conversations, and it is not unlocked simply because two people enjoy spending time together. This level requires something much rarer, trust that has been proven over time. At this stage, the conversation begins to move beyond opinions and everyday experiences. What starts to emerge are the beliefs and emotional experiences that shape how she sees relationships, loyalty, love, disappointment, and trust itself. These are the parts of a person that are rarely shared casually because they carry emotional weight. They reveal not only who someone is, but also why they are that way. You may begin hearing stories she does not tell most people. You may learn about experiences that changed her perspective on life. You may discover insecurities she normally keeps hidden or dreams she rarely discusses openly. These moments are significant because they represent genuine vulnerability rather than simple openness. Many people spend years knowing someone without ever reaching this layer. Not because it is impossible, but because true emotional depth requires patience, consistency, and understanding. When someone trusts you enough to reveal their inner world, you are no longer interacting with the version they show everyone else. You are finally meeting the person beneath the surface. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they begin experiencing deeper connection is believing they need to accelerate it. The moment they sense openness, they start pushing for more. They ask increasingly personal questions, seek constant reassurance, or try to create emotional intensity before the relationship has naturally reached that point. While the intention may be good, the result is often the opposite of what they hoped for. Trust develops through experience, not pressure. Every meaningful connection has its own rhythm, and when that rhythm is interrupted, people tend to pull back rather than move closer. A woman may have been gradually lowering her guard, but the moment she feels rushed, she becomes aware of the risk involved in being vulnerable. Instead of feeling safe, she begins protecting herself again. This is why it is important to focus on patterns rather than isolated moments. A single personal conversation does not automatically mean deep trust has formed. One emotional evening does not instantly create lasting connection. What matters is what happens consistently over time. The people who build the strongest relationships are often the ones who understand patience. They do not chase every sign or overanalyze every interaction. They allow trust to develop naturally without forcing it forward. Connection grows strongest when neither person feels pressured to prove anything. It deepens when both people are given the space to reveal themselves at a pace that feels comfortable, genuine, and real. When you truly understand these layers, the way you view relationships begins to change. You stop measuring connection by how quickly things progress, and you start paying attention to how naturally they develop. Instead of searching for immediate certainty, you become more comfortable allowing people to reveal themselves over time. That shift alone can prevent a tremendous amount of confusion, disappointment, and misunderstanding. The next time you find yourself talking to a woman who seems pleasant but slightly distant, you may see the situation differently. Instead of assuming something is wrong, you'll recognize that genuine connection often unfolds in stages. What appears to be distance may simply be caution. What feels like uncertainty may simply be a normal part of getting to know someone. The strongest relationships are rarely built through pressure, performance, or perfect words. They are built through patience, trust, emotional awareness, and a willingness to understand someone beyond their surface behavior. When you focus less on controlling the outcome and more on understanding the person in front of you, everything becomes clearer. Many of the frustrations people experience in dating and relationships come from expecting depth before trust has had the opportunity to grow. But when you respect the process, you give real connection the space it needs to develop naturally. If this discussion resonated with you, subscribe and turn on notifications. On this channel, we explore relationship psychology, attraction, emotional intelligence, human behavior, and the hidden patterns that help us better understand ourselves and the people we connect with.